Okay, I have a friend, Jason, who asked for what I felt like essential judo techniques for jiu-jitsu guys to start developing their judo or their stand-up. And I came up with this list in like 50 seconds, so if it's terrible, don't judge me. O-uchigari is major inside reap. Wrestlers call it an inside trip. Wrestlers will do it by dropping down to their knee, windshield wipering their knee at the uke's ankle, like my knee joint is going to be right behind his ankle. They're going to windshield wiper that, and they're going to dive their head and their body to the outside of this, oftentimes with an overhook, or if they've got an underhook, they're going to be pinching on this leg, and they're going to dump him like that, right? Judo does not do it that way. It is a leg sweep in judo. We try to get this leg light, and then we try to hook it and bring him around without him stabbing us in the eye with his thumb. That is a super big, important point. Ogoshi, right? Both of those, the Ochigari. I think that for jiu-jitsu, you need to have both of those, right? They're gonna put you in half guard or full guard, but they're like really, really high percentage judo throws for jiu-jitsu, and you need to be good at both those variations I just showed. For guard pullers, that O-uchi standing is very good. And for people who like to wrestle, the inside trip is very good. That's why wrestlers use it. Ogoshi. Dan Camarillo likes to teach an ogoshi where he just constantly harasses the person's thigh with his knee until they move it out of the way, right? So he kind of takes his grip, he takes the grip either over the back or under the arm, it doesn't matter, and he'll get a little bit of gi right there, and he starts like harassing them until they move their leg, right? And as soon as they move their leg out of the way, he shoots his hips across. Comes in with his ogoshi. I don't like to teach taniotoshi, the dropping backwards throw, very early on. And I feel especially with beginner judo guys and beginner jiu-jitsu people that knees get hurt a lot. But that is a very good attack to start like to fake, right? If Tim thinks that I'm gonna go behind him and drag him down with my taniotoshi, and he thinks that's gonna happen, he's really gonna try to square up with me and avoid me getting behind him. And that lets me pop my hips right in for the ogoshi. I've already forgotten what's next on my list. Osotogari Gaishi. Osotogari, the way it's typically taught and the way that people try it when they first learn it, it's such a low percentage move that I wouldn't even bother learning it. Just learn how to counter it, right? Tim comes at me with Osotogari. I pull him in tight with my arms, and I take a backward step and turn my shoulders 90 degrees, right? He attacks me, I attack him. I attack his Osoto with my own Osoto. Like, as soon as somebody learns Osotogari, they like start reaching for this leg, right? Boom, just turn and counter. Just practice turning 90 degrees, lifting the leg. Pull them in tight, right? Tim's gonna do it this time. I attack Osoto, turns, he counters me. Next throw that I have written down, Saku Nagi. Saku Nagi is a throw that we don't use in judo competition as far as the current world Olympic rules anymore. Originally, it looked like this. I would step behind him like I was making a sumo stance chair for him to sit on. I would grab his pants on the front of both knees, and I would lift him onto my leg. And once he's on my leg, I then rock into like a back fall. And I put my elbow into the dirt. And I would smack his brains out so hard, he would never be able to walk again. I pulled a crash pad over because I liked him. Tim is my friend. And this still, even on the crash pad, sucks very much. Now you think nobody would ever let me do that. But for jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of entanglements and grip things where if I'm holding on to his jacket and he strips this off and puts me in like a Russian 2-on-1 style scenario, I suddenly have access to these types of throws, and these situations don't present themselves in judo much anymore. If he cross grips me, like here, I can jack this down and then go in for it. There's a lot of different positions that you will find that it's more available in jiu-jitsu than it is in judo currently. It was just a few years ago the IJF, the International Judo Federation, renamed one of the classic judo throws and put it underneath the umbrella of the name Saku Nagi, the throw we were just talking about. So now that's not the only Saku Nagi that there is. Now Teguruma, hand wheel, or what some people call a high crotch, is also Teguruma because it's a hand, or Teguruma is hand wheel. Saku Nagi, scooping throw, right? So if he were to grab down my back, like he would come over the top and grab down my back, this leg would be exposed and I can get my hips under him. And you'll notice that I'm in roughly the same position as I was with the other Saku Nagi, which is probably why they named this Saku Nagi. And I grab his leg and I lift him up onto my belly and then I rotate him. That's why we used to call it hand wheel, because I would rotate with my hands. And there's many different hand wheels. That was totally a Kaguruma. I picked him up onto my head. There were many different hand wheels. They're all Saku Nagi now. So by picking Saku Nagi, I actually picked like 4 throws. Next throw, Uchimata. So you're not gonna throw Uchimata the way judo guys do, like initially, because you're not gonna have people play with you the way judo guys do. But when somebody has a super aggressive, wrestler stance, you can kind of exploit that by hooking at the knee and hopping around, lifting it up. So still worth it to learn Uchimata, but where Uchimata really shines is when he shoots in on a single, right, and picks my leg up. So when he does this, he wants to run me down and knock me over, right? He's gonna pick my leg up and he's gonna knock me over. So in order to keep him from doing that, I'm gonna turn my torso in that direction, and now look, I can hop this way relatively free. As he picks this leg up, I'm gonna grab this arm, and when he starts driving, I just hop and do my Uchimata. Right, so it's much more useful as a defensive throw against single legs than it is as just a straight up Uchimata. Sumigeishi. Sumigeishi and Uchimata and Ouchigari all work together. My Ouchigari can turn into my Uchimata, and if he steps off of these, or he's very good at defending these Uchimata attacks, right, I can drop in with Sumigeishi, which is not a butterfly sweep. Don't let people tell you it is, it's not. Seo Otoshi. So Seo Otoshi is what we would think of as, like, some people tell you it's a drop Seo Nagi. It's not a drop Seo Nagi. I'm going to put my knee on the ground. Yes, it's only going to be one of my knees. And there's a reason why I'm doing this, is because that lets me stand back up pretty easily. Another modification I would make for jiu-jitsu guys is I would not use the Ippon Seo Nagi style grip for my Seo Otoshi. Right? I would not come and do this, not because he can choke me, because if I do this properly, he shouldn't have a chance to choke me. But because it doesn't offer me as many opportunities to play with his arm once we hit the ground. So I will take a Marote grip, a two-handed grip, and when I turn in, this elbow is going to go in this armpit. Notice my wrist does not turn like this or like this. It stays strong. I make a fist with it in his gi, and I'm going to put it in this armpit, and then I'm going to put my knee on the ground, preferably on his pinky toe, but for the, so that your friends don't hit you, you're going to put it next to his pinky toe. This hand pulls out until my elbow touches his armpit, and as soon as my elbow touches his armpit, it pulls down. So I go out and down, and now I twist my torso. Now, because I didn't take this grip, because I took this collar grip, as soon as we land, we notice that his elbow is exposed from his hip. It makes it very difficult for him to defensively pull that back in, right? We can immediately come up and replace our elbow in the armpit with our knee for uki gatami, knee on belly. And we can put our chest on top of the tricep when we come in here and push the arm forward into these Kimura grips, uregurami grips, and step over the head, heel back, put it behind his back, step over arm lock, what have you. I like the Marote Seo Nagi grip for this much better than the Ippon Seo Nagi grip, because now here I have to unentwine my arm to start the rest of my judo, right? Or the rest of my jiu-jitsu, whatever I'm doing. Whereas if it's on this lapel, I can immediately like slide into Casey Tommy. I can immediately start my knee on belly attacks. I can immediately start my pins, wrist locks if you like those. This gi doesn't fit very well right now. Pull this back, bend that wrist, what have you. That's the 8 throws that I would pick right out of the top of the gate to teach people. And that's going to let you, and so that's going to let you evolve into throws like drop Saku Nagi. Oh, goodness, that was terrible. Why did my toe twist? It's going to let you evolve into drop Saku Nagi style throws. It's going to let you evolve into Taitochi style throws. The ones that you think of when you think of judo, learning these throws is going to let you do those and do them very well if you learn these 8 basic pretty well.